What's up, everybody? My name is Amy, and this is the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast.
Get your weight and you're sitting on top of the world.
What is going on, YouTube screets? Hello. Welcome to the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast. Y'all, please bear with me. This is only my second live, so I'm still learning my way around StreamYard, so just bear with me, please. Hello, Arctic Fox and Frank and Penelope. Hey, Penelope, how are you? Okay, let's see. Shalma Tongue? What's going on, everybody? Like I said, bear with me here. Can y'all hear me okay? I assume you can. Well, I want to start this program off by sending a lot of love and thoughts and prayers for Dave Grohl and Pat Smear and the rest of the Foo Fighters band. Their drummer, Taylor Hawkins, passed away, and I mean, that is just extremely devastating. For those of you that don't know, Dave Grohl and Pat Smear were part of Nirvana. Dave was the drummer for Nirvana, and Pat, along with Chris Novoselic, played guitar. And when Kurt died, it was tough on them, very tough, especially for Dave Grohl. And now they're having to sort of he's having to go through all this again. Taylor's been with the Foo Fighters pretty much ever since he formed the band. And coincidentally, it's almost April, and April 5th is when Kurt Cobain died. So, this happening so close to the time that, Kurt committed suicide, and just, out of the clear blue, it's devastating. Of course, they've had to cancel their tours and everything. I haven't checked any reports today, but I do believe they have not got the autopsy results back yet. So we don't know if it was drug related. All we really know is that he was having chest pains and literally died before they could get up there to his hotel room to get to him. He has had trouble with substance abuse and all, but it's just very, very sad. They say lightning don't strike twice. It does in Dave Grohl and Pat Smear's world. Anyway, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about some different cases, and I'm going to start off talking about Josh Duggar. Okay, y'all may know I am a lifelong Arkansan. I've lived in Arkansas my entire life. And I have never met the Duggars. I don't believe I've ever even seen them face to face. And I have had no desire to meet the Duggars. Being an Arkansan, of course, I knew them before they were famous, but I only knew of them. I didn't know anything about them personally. Their religious beliefs are just a little too overbearing for me. And, I'm just not fascinated by them. They live by a very strict conservative beliefs that broke off from the Baptist church many years ago. And, I just don't, I'm religious and everything, don't get me wrong, but that's just a little overbearing for me. Well, they have postponed sentencing for Josh Duggar again. They have done everything possible to fight him going to jail for these charges. Delay. He's just like Jesse Smollett. He's gonna keep whining until he gets his way. Gonna keep whining until he can try and get out of this. And I'm sorry, but Josh Duggar should have been locked up a long time ago. And this is where religious beliefs tend to come in. And I don't know if growing up in that household, I don't know what kind of talk they had with their kids about the birds and the bees and whatnot, but I can only imagine that when you live in a cultish world like that, you have to wonder what it's like on the outside. What's the real world like? And, when Josh was about 14, 15 years old, he was molesting his sisters. Probably shouldn't have said that word, but he was, messing around with his sisters and I think some other girls. But, for any of you boys listening, 14, 15, that's when your sexual peak starts, kind of coming out, and you get, more curious, about sexuality, and with his parents having so many kids and whatnot, I don't know what he was exposed to. I don't even want to think about. I don't even want to think about it. But he, they think that you can pray away that kind of behavior, and he. I don't know that I would classify him as a pedo. I would classify him more as, I believe, a sexual deviant, to some extent. Like, and that he is a sex addict, more or less. I'm not saying that he's not a pedo, but what I'm saying is that he of course likes women, but he likes children too. And I just don't. I don't know. I mean, things escalated. That he had that scandal messing around on his wife on AshleyMadison.com and all that, and it was years later that he did come out and admit to what he had done when he was a teenager, but he, it was just like, I was sent away to some other cult where they can either play away those type of things or give you a stern talking to, and it just doesn't work like that. And there is a reason why behind their religious beliefs, why they that I don't really want to discuss it because I don't want to offend anyone, but part of their religion derives from, well, it includes another religion, and I just don't want to offend anyone, but some of you may know what religion I'm talking about, and they are one of the religions that tries to hide that kind of stuff within the church, and they try to keep it hush hush and keep it within the church. But he's trying to, he's got it delayed again because his attorneys are, everything's still operating under semi-COVID rules and everything. And then his lawyers have got some other cases and whatnot. And so they're just extending it. And I think that they still think that they're going to pull out some kind of Hail Mary, that, that he's just somehow going to get out of it. And he should not get out of it, which I'm going to get into. There was a YouTube creator about a month or so ago that did a show about Josh Duggar, and they wondered who had what kind of political influence that and ties that Josh Duggar has? Well, I'm going to tell you. Like I said, I've not ever paid attention to that family. So unless it was some big scandal in the tabloids, I didn't know more about it than anybody else did. I did not watch their show. None of it. None of it. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm kind of stuttering. What the hell was I talking about? Oh, yeah, his political ties. Well, it piqued my curiosity when that YouTube creator was, wondering about Josh's political ties. And I had a very funny feeling that I knew exactly what his political ties were and who his political ties were with. Now, Jim Bob Duggar used to be a state representative. And so there's, where some of it comes in. But they are a part of the Republican Party. They are, of course, very over religious. So I knew right where to look. And sure enough, they are tied with former Governor Mike Huckabee, who I like Mike Huckabee. He was a good governor. He passed a law in honor of my friend's daughter, who was brutally murdered by her ex-friend, and she was pregnant, and he killed her and the unborn baby. I talked about this on another podcast episode, and Mike Huckabee has publicly stood up for Josh Duggar and said, he's admitted what he's done. He's asked for forgiveness, and we should pray for him, and we got to forgive what he did, when he was a teenager. And look what happened. It just escalated. It escalated into a full-blown scandal, like I said, with the whole Ashley Madison thing, and then this whole, child PORN situation. And for those of you that don't know much about Mike Huckabee is a very religious man. And like I said, I like Mike Huckabee. But again, you cannot pray that kind of behavior away. I believe in the power of prayer, but that is what Josh has is a sickness. It's an illness. It's an addiction. It's a sin. Isn't addiction a sin in those people's eyes? Another person that he's good friends with is one of our state senators, who I got blinded into believing was a good man back in 2010. Back in 2000, I've worked in politics since before I was old enough to vote. And my grandmother was, I come from a Democrat family. Grandmother was very involved in the Women's Democratic Party, and so I would go fill in for her up at the Democrat headquarters, and pass out political paraphernalia and whatnot. And then I got into working on people's campaigns. And in 2010, I worked on a campaign who ran on the Republican ticket. And damn, I started talking about politics and everybody left. What the hell? Y'all, I'm not trying to, please do not take any kind of offense to any kind of anything I say politically or religiously. Do not take offense to any of it. But I was working on a campaign for a guy who was running, the office that he was running for was on the Republican ticket. And when you do that, you have to pass out everybody else's paraphernalia, whether you like them or not. But I got roped into believing that these were all good Christian, conservative people that were really in it for the people, okay? Because contrary to popular belief and my reputation, I am conservative. I'm just not as conservative. I'm a fence rider, okay? If you really want to nail me down to a political party, I am a libertarian. But anyway, Josh Duggar is good friends with Arkansas State Senator of the 35th District, Jason Rapert. Jason Rapert had Holy Ghost Ministries. So he's one of them overly religious people too. And he tries to impose his religion on everybody else. And if you don't obey by his beliefs, then you're going to burn in hell. I mean, he's the type of person that wants to cram religion down your throat. And he wants to pass laws that he feels are a criminalizing sin, and he wants to pass laws against them, such as same-sex marriage, abortion, and medical marijuana. And he has just been such a pain in the rear end because he wants his cake and eat it too. We have separation of church and state, okay? And he fought and got private funding and all kinds of stuff to have a 10 Commandments monument put at the state capitol. But no other religion could put their statue or anything on just him. So he finagled around and got this 10 Commandments monument there, which I don't care what religion you are, or if you're no religion, if you're atheist or a Satanist or whatever, because I know people that are both, but they are good people. I know pagans. I know Wiccans. I know atheists. I know Catholics and Jews, and I know people from all different religions, but the Ten Commandments, in my opinion, is something that should just be a moral code for everyone. You know, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. You know, I mean, that's just simple moral standards that everyone should live by. And he, of course, they're dead set against abortion. He's dead set against abortion, and got the heartbeat bill passed, and then they did the things with the Ten Commandments. And then I'll be damned if some kooky fool didn't run over it with his truck and mow it down. And he got more money and had it put right back up. But what pissed me off is he, along with my state representative at the time, were the two that fought the hardest against medical marijuana here in Arkansas. Okay, that's when you start screwing with my life, okay? We have an opioid epidemic, and people were having management, people were getting taken off their pain medication and all this kind of stuff. Well, marijuana is the least drug that you cannot die from marijuana. And I'd much rather have marijuana in my system than these drugs that I can OD on and die on and whatnot. But they fought like hell to and when we passed it as voters, the voters of Arkansas passed for medical marijuana, and they fought that shit it took us 2 years to get a dispensary opened. They did everything they humanly possibly could to delay it, to make it hard as hell and expensive as hell for anybody to get a grower's license. I mean, you couldn't even owe an old library fine. But the one I was really disappointed in was my own state representative at that time, who was Kim Hammer, that he fought against it. And I thought, how in the hell does a man who sits with hospice patients, how can he deny someone something that could help them and help them feel better, that is much better for them than the powerful narcotics and opiates that they're putting into their system? I mean, I couldn't, but I found out the hard way. Kim Hammer was a yes man. And so, but I tell you what, I'm honestly glad to be out of my hometown. I moved out of my hometown back in 2017 when I bought my little RV and went on the road and turned it into a glamper. And but anyway, well, everybody left again. Oh well. But those are Josh Duggar's two main political influences and who he's tight with. Now, I don't know what their relationship is with Asa Hutchinson. I can give you 2 cents for him either. But like I said, I especially cannot stand Jason Rapert because the way he goes about doing things. And I wish we could get him out of politics. Which he's running for lieutenant governor, damn it. Ugh. Arkansas, please do not elect Jason Rapert for lieutenant governor. Please don't. The man is a nuisance, okay? So, to wrap this up about Josh Duggar, they just need to go. He's probably going to go to Forest City here in Arkansas, which is where the federal prison is. I know people that have been in that prison. My best friend's brother got locked up for selling ecstasy, and he went there. Rapper T.I. was at Forest City federal prison, but he needs to just be thankful he's going to federal prison and not state prison here in Arkansas, because he would not make it a week. They don't like BABYRAPERSs in the Arkansas Department of Corrections. I mean, you can gun your wife down, but don't mess with a kid. I know people in state prisons. I know what their mentality is. So he just better be glad he's going to federal prison and not state prison here in Arkansas. I mean, I don't care if he sits in that county jail for his whole time, as long as he's locked up and don't get out of this. His way out of it. Okay, moving on to Scott Peterson. I want to talk about Scott Peterson because I am furious about this. And, you know, I followed this case when it all originally happened. When Lacey, went missing, and the trial and every bit of it. And I remember Nancy Grace every night talking about strawberry shortcake. This juror, seven, that they nicknamed strawberry shortcake because she had this bright fuchsia red hair, which I think she did deliberately. Well, anyway, she allegedly lied on her jury form and stated that she, had not ever been in a domestic violence situation. Well, but then she went around talking about it, that she had, and even told other jurors and whatnot. And she was actually an alternate, but a juror got dismissed, and she was like kind of a last minute deal, and so she got completely on the jury. And the first thing she said when they walked into the deliberation room was, "He's got to pay for hurting little man," referring to Lacey's unborn son, Connor. She was also very outspoken in the media as well. She didn't shy away from the media. Well, come to find out, She wrote letters to Scott Peterson in prison at the urging of her therapist, allegedly, because she says she became consumed with, after the trial was over, that the whole thing had just consumed her life. So she started seeing a therapist, and then he told her to write letters to Scott. And I think what she thought, she says what her intentions were to get him to confess, and or say something. She wanted to hear something out of his mouth because Scott Peterson did not get on the stand. Well, I don't know about y'all, but this girl had developed a very unhealthy obsession with Scott Peterson, in my opinion. They try to say that she, deliberately lied and that she wanted on this jury. And then all this has come about. Who actually wants to be on a jury to convict someone and sentence them to death? I mean, that's just a little... I'm not saying I don't believe in the death penalty, but if I was asked to be on a death penalty case, I would run and hide. I would not want to be on that jury, be on that jury and decide the fate of someone's life like that. And who, if you've got any sense at all, and you're on a jury, for a man who has murdered his pregnant wife, you're going to have to look at autopsy photos and crime scene photos and things like that. I can stalk a lot, and I've seen a lot of crime scene photos, but I can tell you right now, I would not have wanted to see those crime scene photos. That shit would haunt me for the rest of my life. But what pisses me off is that she did this. And now we're looking at Scott Peterson, after almost 20 years, getting a new trial. He's already off death row. They already got his sentence commuted. But now they're trying to get him a whole new trial. And to put her family through that shit again and have to relive all that mess again is just... God. Do I believe Scott Peterson's guilty? You damn well better believe I believe he's guilty. And so help me, if he gets out of all this, or conviction overturned, or gets a new trial and has to put her family through that fucking hell again, I'm going to find that redheaded bitch and whip her ass for doing that. Don't lie to get on a jury. How stupid are you? And if you're going to lie to get on a jury, don't go around running your mouth. Because, we don't want these kinds of things happening. And this is not the first time. This is not the first case of juror misconduct that I'm aware of. It happened with the West Memphis Three, which I've been a long time advocate for. And there was they found juror misconduct, and that trial was fucked up from the get-go. That was nothing but a witch hunt. But if you think these defense attorneys are not going to find stuff out, especially when you've sentenced their client to death, I mean, I'm just furious at this girl for what she has done. They don't like to get on a jury, people. Just don't. Okay, kids, now on to talking about the Summer Wells circus. Let's just call it what it is, a circus. It seems as though Beavis and Butthead have decided now that Don may be behind Summer's disappearance. And they are trying to convince Candace of it. And it's so absurd. It's absurd. Like, y'all are questioning Dawn now. When are y'all going to question Candace and the things that she has said? I mean, Dawn has said some extremely disturbing things in regards to Summer. And I figured out early on that, something wasn't right there. I even said one time that, my girls' dads love them, but they don't love them that much. And I could tell from just his demeanor and the things he would say and the way he talked about Summer that he had an unhealthy relationship. I'll just put it that way. Well, they're trying to now convince Candace that Don could Don have snuck up there and took Summer. It's absurd. It's truly, how in the world would Don come home with all these people there? Candace was there, Grandis was there, the boys were there, Summer was there, and you want to convince me that he snuck home while you weren't looking, or while you were in there fixing your mom's knee brace, and took Summer? That's what you're trying to convince me of. And that's what they're trying to convince Candace of. They won't question her, though, about anything. And I'm telling you, there is something that she's not telling. There's a big part of this story that she's not telling. And she seriously needs to come up off that dumb hillbilly act. I don't know if it's real or if she is that good at playing dumb or lying or whatever. She is like, oh my God, I didn't know any of this. He said these things. I didn't. Okay, fine. But I don't no more believe that Don snuck up there and took Summer when nobody was looking than I believe anybody else snuck up there and took Summer. But I don't rule out abduction. But some of the things that Dawn has said that I've come to know more about, he's from the beginning, he's denied drug use and he's denied, oh, we don't mess with them meth heads and we don't do none of that kind of stuff. Yeah, you do. You're lying. I knew he was lying. But one of the theories that I had was, did Don rip the dope man off? Did Don owe a bunch of money to the dope man? I could not figure out why when they, on Dr. Phil, when they started talking about the cornbread mafia, that Candace just lost it the way she did. And why did that upset her so bad? So that is another theory that I have had in the back of my mind, that Don screwed over the dope man or robbed, and now he's talking about it. And all this information has come out that about him going to Mexico and Kingsport and different places and hanging out in crack houses and stuff. Because I know to the extent that a dope man will go to when you screw them over, or you owe them a bunch of money and don't pay up, or you rob them or steal from them. Because, make a long story short, someone in my life was involved with some very bad people, and he screwed them over, and had it not been for my brother-in-law, they might have snatched my own kid. That's not really something that I've ever talked about. I did mention it in one of my other pre-recorded podcasts, but yeah, involved with some very bad people, and he ripped them off. And but and Candace is just going on and on and on, like, what the hell? I can't believe he said that. I've not ever heard none of this stuff. Da 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 da. Does she seriously not know what happened to Summer? Does she seriously not know? She claims she don't. She claims, oh, they come up here and took her. Somebody come up here and took her. But is she lying to cover herself? Or what? Because I just, it's hard to not know what to believe. One thing that has pissed me off in this case is that there have been people who have misconstrued innocent until proven guilty and an investigation. Yes, you are presumed innocent until proven guilty, jury of your peers in a court of law. But we haven't got to court yet. That's for the courts. We haven't got there yet. This is still an investigation. This is still an investigated case. And everyone is still a suspect. No one has been ruled out. Per TBI and Chef Ron Lawson. So let's not misconstrue the presumption of innocence and an investigation. Because it don't matter who the missing child is or the murdered child is, the parents are always the first suspect in every investigation. So it's nothing personal. It just is. And I have never seen such foul and wild behavior. Let's face it, Donna Candace ain't exactly John at Patsy Ramsey, okay? All they seem to care about is milking this for their own attention and their own monetary gain. And I don't know. I just don't get these people, and I don't understand why in the hell they have not been brought in for more interrogation and more, look, your story doesn't jive. And let's get to some tough questions. So I don't know what they're doing. But it makes me sick to my stomach that there have been people out here that have turned this poor little girl into a money-making cash cow and are making money off face. It makes me sick. I'm old school. I come from the old school. I come from the school of where you helped your neighbor. You know, you go next door and borrow an egg or a stick of butter or a cup of milk. Hell, my neighborhood, if it wasn't for the people in my neighborhood, um, hell, they helped raise me. My dad left when I was 2 years old. He had an affair and he left me and my disabled mother at 2 years old. My mother had severe crippling rheumatoid arthritis. She developed it 6 months after I was born, overnight, and she had her first surgery when I was 3. But if it hadn't been for the neighbors, they're the ones that helped raise me. They're the ones that took care of me when she was in the hospital and stuff. The first time when she had her knee surgery, that was her first surgery when I was 3. And they had to, this is so funny, they had to put tape on my little walking shoes because the floor was so slick over at Hot Springs, over at Levi Hospital, that I kept falling down. You know how slick those baby shoes are on the bottom, and then you got the slick floor? I was falling down everywhere, and they had to put tape on the bottom of my shoes. But I got into this, like I said, I've been following true crime since the late 80s. And to me, this is a volunteer thing. Your kid's missing, I'm going to come help you look. I'm not going to charge you gas money or plane fare money. And it just, I thought I come from an era where people did things out of the kindness of their own heart. But this is a completely different world we live in now. And that's why I don't put my own Cash App on my channel. Sure, I could use some extra money. I live on a disability check. But I'm not going to get into asking for money, on the backs of people's bad things that happen. Back in the day, I was long before social media and whatnot, it was on the ground work. It was going to the library and looking through newspaper articles and stuff like that. It was about going and standing out in the heat and the cold and going to the state capitol and different stuff, and protesting and, on the ground making a difference, not sitting at home in the heat and air conditioning in a computer chair. But to ask for money, like I said, I wouldn't, if you called me and said, Amy, my kid's missing, can you come help me look? Absolutely. I'll be there as soon as I can. Well, have you got $20 you could give me for gas? Are you serious? No. So that's, kind of just how I feel about it. Hey, kitty kitty. Hi, darling. What are you doing? Come here. Meow. What? You want to say hello to the YouTube scrates? But anyway, yeah, I just wish somebody would hurry up and do something and quit letting this drag on and on and on and on and on and get to the bottom of what happened to some wells. This is just drug on for way too long. She either needs to be found or her remains need to be found and given a proper burial. And, apparently, I don't know what TBI and Hawkins County, what their thoughts are. I think that they still feel that she wandered away from her house. But I have wondered, one thing I've wondered about as far as the TBI goes is if they are looking for Summer on the dark web. Are they looking for Summer? Are they keeping an eye out for her to show up on the dark web in case they're sex trafficking and all that stuff? If that's the case, they're saying that nothing's ruled out. So just, in case, I would hope that they've got someone that's keeping an eye out, on the dark web and whatnot. The SO list there is ungodly, and every single one of the people on their list is registered as violent. But we don't know how much extent, they've looked into any of those people. But I just think this whole that the private eye duo of Beavis and Butthead are now they're trying to convince Candace that Don may be guilty, that he may have snuck up there when she wasn't looking and home and he took off with her. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. It's just ridiculous how he could have been on that property and no one saw him. Not Candace, not Grandis, not the boys, nobody. That just don't make sense to me. But I do believe, like I said, the parents are the first suspects for me, and they will continue to be the first suspects for me until this child found alive or deceased, and we find out what happened to her. That's just all there is to it. But, I'm not going to rule out anything. I just... Well, it looks... I have been on here for about an hour. And... Hello, Donna Odom. How are you? When I was about 14, a little boy wandered off. They let school out for his hip surgery. Find him, but fishermen that same year found his body. And that's so sad. That is so sad. Well, does anybody have any questions, or what are your thoughts on this whole new situation that has come up about the focus turning towards Don being responsible for Summer's disappearance? And let me know what you think. Like I said, I don't think it's very plausible, but stranger things have happened. But I do believe that something very terrible happened to that little girl. And I just wish we could end this nightmare. I mean, any other time, this is what frustrates me so bad. Any other time that you see so many discrepancies in someone's what they're saying happened, and when you see as many discrepancies as there is that have been put out by Dawn and Candace alone, whether and you don't even have to count like Jody Sue or Allie or just the discrepancies in the things that Dawn and Candace alone have said. I don't understand why they have not been pressured and interrogated more. Because it's going to be a year here pretty soon that Summer's been gone. And I'll tell you another thing that I'm really concerned and worried about regarding Summer. And it's how Casey Anthony beat a murder charge. The reason why Casey Anthony was not found guilty of killing Kaylee was because they could not prove exactly how Kaylee died. Her and her lawyer Jose Baez put out the idea that Kaylee had drowned in the pool and that she was, and all that, and that was their alternate theory. Yet they never filed any kind of charges against anybody for what's that called? It's what they've charged the McKinney's for. Abuse of a corpse. They never filed any kind of charges like that. Someone put Kaylee out there in them woods. But that is my fear, is that it has been so long now that if Summer is gone, wherever they find her, unless they like literally find her buried in some SO's backyard, how they'll be able to prove how she died or at whose hand she died by. Was it an accident? Was it, you know, that's my biggest fear, is that they won't be able to prove anybody did anything. And another thing is that I'm not going to be here for another 25 years. And you don't want to still have to be reporting on things 25 years later. We still don't know who killed JonBenet Ramsey. We still don't know what happened to Morgan Nick. She has never been found. We still don't know what happened to Madeleine Mccann. Oh, and by the way, they are closing the missing persons case on Madeleine Mccann. That they've got that dude that in jail, that Bruckner guy, in jail on charges but they believe that he is the one that's responsible for taking Madeleine Mccann, even though he swears he had nothing to do with it. Yeah, they're closing her. They're officially closing her missing persons case. That's sad. But yeah, you don't want to have to still be reporting on stuff 25 years from now, like I am. All the cases that I followed in the 90s, I'm still reporting on. Still fighting for justice, true justice in the West Memphis 3 case. And, still don't know where Morgan Nick is. Still don't know who killed JonBenet Ramsey. Susan Smith, she'll be up for parole here in a couple of years. It's just weird to watch these cases go full circle and to follow a case full circle like this. But oh Lord. Anyway. What? Anyway, I guess that's all I really wanted to talk about. This is, like I said, this is only my second live, and I am going to try to start doing more lives. So, please subscribe and hit the like button and tell all your friends, because I'm not just talking about the Summer Wells case. I talk about a lot of cases. I also have another podcast channel on Spotify, and it's called the Ruby Pearl Glam Crime True Crime Podcast as well. And that's where I do more of trials and covering trials and stuff. It's just right now, I'm waiting on so many cases that I'm following and covering for these people to go to trial. Waiting on Ethan Crumley and his parents to go to trial. Waiting on Justine Johnson to go to trial. Waiting on the Evelyn Boswell. Waiting on Megan Boswell to go to trial, and just these different cases. I'm waiting on these people to go to trial. So if you're interested in trials and stuff, please come over and listen to me on Spotify or Anchor. But I am going to end this live today, and hopefully I'll schedule the next one ahead of time and let people know. Like I said, this is only my second live, and the first one was impromptu. This one's impromptu, and but you all have a great day. I'm going to go enjoy some of the sunshine. I'm going to go lay down in my easy chair outside with my dog and soak up some sun, because I have a vitamin D deficiency, and that is the only way that my body absorbs vitamin D is through natural methods. My brain, the doctors say that my brain does not absorb vitamin D, and even if I took vitamin D supplements, pills or whatever, that it wouldn't do a bit of good. So anyway, you all have a great day, and everyone, please remember, be the change that you wish to see in this world. As Michael Jackson said, it starts with the man in the mirror. Good afternoon, everybody. Have a great day. Peace out.